In the year 2016 in Pakistan, the parents of a 28-year-old Samia Shahid learned that their daughter, Samia, had secretly married a second husband against the family's customs. So the mother and the last-born daughter collude in tricking Samia that her father was seriously ill. Samia boarded a plane to Pakistan to see her ailing father, not knowing that this was a plot well planned by her family to kill her. Upon reaching her home, her first husband, a man named Shakeel, strangled Samia to death as Mohammed Shahid, who was Samia's father, held Samia, his daughter's legs, so that she doesn't escape. Samia dies and her father helped her first husband, Shakeel, to escape with the murder. Why was Samia murdered by her own family in an honor killing? Samia Shahid was born on 15th November 1997 in Bradford, Yorkshire in the United Kingdom. She was born to a man known as Chaudhry Mohammed Shahid and a woman known as Imtiaz Bibi. Samia was the eldest daughter, and she had a younger sister known as Madiha Shahid. They grew up in Bradford. Bradford is the sixth largest city in England with ethnic diverse population. Many members of the South Asian communities have made their home there. Lots of people from South Asian communities, including Pakistani, are from here. Samia's family moved to UK in search for better opportunities for their families. They were originally from a small village called Pandori in Pakistan. The Shahid family were well known in Bradford because of the nature of business they were doing. Samia's parents owned a car hire and a limousine hire business. Her uncle ran a ship shop and her other uncle ran a flower shop. Her mother Imtiaz had 5 brothers, and they were all known locally. Samia loved her family. She had so many cousins, nieces, and nephews, and she just loved her big family. Samia was known to be funny, friendly, cheerful, popular, and lovely girl, always smiling. She loved fast cars, she was bubbling, and she was the apple of her father's eye. She loved her dad, and her friends said that she would have done anything for her dad, as her dad's words were laws in her eyes. After completing her education at Nab Wood School, she had a passion for makeup, clothes, and fashion. Samia had a good relationship with her family, and she was her father's favorite child. Therefore, her father fulfilled her every wish. Chaudhry Mohammed Shahid told her daughters, that is Samia and her younger sister Madiha, that even though they shifted to UK, they should never forget their country and religion. Although Samia and Madiha were given freedom to enjoy Western upbringing, given that they were living in UK, it was only to a certain extent. Her family valued and stayed true to their faith, which was the Sunni Muslim faith and their Pakistani culture. There are 2 denominations in Islam, that is the Sunni Islam and the Shia Islam. Sunni is the largest denomination in Islam. Therefore, in her family, certain rules had to be followed. Even though Samia loved fast cars, she was not allowed to drive. Her friends claimed that she would hire a car and then drive like crazy, wild, and reckless. Samia was also a beauty therapist and a makeup artist. This was her hobby. She had a job working part-time at post office in Bradford. In their culture, whatever happened, family came fast. In the year 2012, Samia was now 25 years old, and her parents felt that she needed to now get married. In Pakistani culture, arranged marriages are very common, although it was not required by the Sunni Islamic faith. It was encouraged and expected. So when Samia's parents, Mohammed Shahid and Imtiaz Bibi, approached Samia with a chosen husband, Samia agreed not because she wanted to, but because she felt she needed to. She took her cultural heritage seriously, and she did not want to disappoint her family, and she would do anything to make them proud. In February 2012, it was decided that Samia is going to marry a man named Chaudhry Mohammed Shakeel. Samia asked her family for some time to think about it, and she told her father that she wanted to meet Shakeel before getting married. Her father agreed, and Samia booked a ticket to Pakistan. Samia stayed in Pakistan for about 1 month, during which she and Shakeel got to know each other well. Shakeel was not somebody that Samia had expected as a husband. He was from their village Pandori in Pakistan, and he was her first cousin. Shakeel was like a brother to Samia, and she had known him since they were little children. On top of that, Shakeel had been released from prison for shooting a man over a dispute about land. Although the man did not die, he was seriously injured. This news made Samia to be more worried, and she shared it with her friends. Surprisingly, Samia's father was also aware of this incident, but still considered Shakeel to be the perfect groom for Samia. Samia knew that her father was happy with this relationship, and she didn't want to disappoint him, so she agreed with the marriage. In their Pakistani culture, it was common to marry your first cousin so that you can keep land in your family. Samia's parents were also first cousins, and they had arranged marriage, which worked. To prepare for her wedding, Samia was taken to all different Pakistani stores to get everything that she wanted: the gorgeous outfit, the fancy jewelry, and her father Mohammed paid for it all. Samia knew that money was not going to buy her happiness. She tried to get excited planning for her wedding. She confided in her friends that even though her parents wanted what was best for her, she didn't really thought if this was the right thing for her. She felt suffocated because she had to put on a big smile for her family. She wanted to make them happy, but inside she wasn't listening to her heart and mind. At the same time, she also didn't want to bring shame to her family. In mid-February 2012, when she was getting into the plane to fly to Pakistan, after having returned to Bradford in UK, she texted her friend saying, "I can't believe that this is happening. I am dying. I swear my life is a jack." Samia and Shakeel had a big wedding, and many people from Bradford came down to Pakistan to celebrate with them. On the 27th February 2012, the four-day celebration began with over 1,000 guests. Their wedding in Pakistani took place as a nikah ceremony. As a wedding gift, her father Mohammed Shahid gifted the couple their very own house. This house was actually next door to her own family home in the village of Pandori. After the wedding, Samia and Shakeel moved into this home and lived together as husband and wife. A few days after their wedding, Samia's family returned to UK, while Samia stayed with Shakeel in Pakistan for 4 months. Samia wasn't happy in Pakistan, so she told Shakeel that she would go to UK and apply for a visa for him. She said that once she got the visa, Shakeel could come to Bradford and they would live together there. Samia then lived in that village for 4 months before returning to Bradford in UK in June 2012 without her husband Shakeel. Shakeel remained in Pakistan pending his immigration application, while Samia went to live with her parents as she applied for a spousal visa for her husband Shakeel. If the spousal visa was granted, Shakeel would move to UK to live with Samia. Upon her return to UK, her friends noted that she was happy and normal around them, but she had resentment towards her parents. Although she was in a different country, she felt that Shakeel was tracking and constantly watching her moves. Shakeel insisted that she calls her daily through a video chat on Skype, and they remained in contact every single day for most of the days. On the 29th July 2012, she left a voice note to her friend praying that she would die. She claimed that she did not want to live anymore. She hated her life. In December 2012, Samia went back to Pakistan to live with Shakeel after spending 6 months living in Bradford. Things were still not going well between them. In June 2013, Samia again went back to Bradford after living with Shakeel for 6 months. Her friends noticed that she was now more happier. She tells her friends that she has met someone new, and this someone new is Syed Mukta Kazim. He was originally from Pakistan, and he had British citizenship, meaning he had dual citizenship, and he worked in Dubai as a fashion photographer. They met each other online and they became friends. They met each other in person in London in October 2013, and they instantly clicked. Since Samia was interested in fashion, they had a lot to talk about during their first meeting. They exchanged contact information, and as long as Kazim was in UK, he met Samia several times. However, when Kazim went back to Dubai, they chatted online and their friendship turned into love. However, there were 2 major obstacles in between them. Kazim was a Shia Muslim and Samia was a Sunni Muslim. The other problem was that Samia was married. Kazim was everything that Samia ever wanted in a man. He was loving, caring, and supportive. She told Kazim about her current situation. Samia wanted a divorce from Shakeel so that she can be with Kazim. Shakeel's spousal visa application was rejected because their wedding was only legal in Pakistan, but it was not recognized in UK because there were no papers like marriage certificate to prove it. So now Shakeel couldn't go to United Kingdom. Samia did not want to stay with Shakeel anymore. So one day, Samia called Shakeel and said it seems that luck is not on their side. You can't come to the United Kingdom and I can't stay in Pakistan. Therefore, it will be better if we both get a divorce. But Shakeel refused to divorce Samia. After this, Samia made a very important decision in her life. In May 2014, she visited a mosque to speak with a prayer leader known Mr. Kazim. Samia said, I have heard in Islam that forced marriages in Islam are not allowed, and consent of both the man and the woman is necessary for marriage. Based on this, my marriage happened against my will. Please help me. Mr. Kazim then wrote to Shakeel, Samia's husband. Mr. Kazim declared the marriage void. 2 witnesses were present when Samia was signing the divorce papers, and her family did not know that this was taking place. Samia and Kazim married each other in September 2014 in Leeds in secret. Their nikah ceremony was performed by Mr. Kazim, the same religious leader who granted her divorce from Shakeel. Samia was very happy. Kazim was the groom and also the photographer. They registered their marriage in English registry. But shortly after the wedding, Kazim went back to Dubai for work, while Samia, staying at her father's house, began preparing to move to Dubai. Until then, Samia thought that her family was not aware of her second marriage, but this was a major misunderstanding on her part. Somehow, Samia's family found out about Kazim, leading to 2 major incidents. On the 14th October, when Samia was returning from work at night, unknown man attacked her. The man attacked Samia's legs with iron poles and then fled. Samia suffered from red-purple bruises all over her thighs. However, a passerby noticed Samia's condition and quickly called an ambulance. The police thoroughly investigated the matter, but couldn't find the culprit. Afterwards, the imam who had arranged Samia's divorce papers and arranged their marriage started receiving phone threats from Samia's family. When Samia recovered and returned home from the hospital, she had many conflicts with her family. At one point, her mother, Imtiaz Bibi, even threw her belongings out in the street. Additionally, Samia's family began calling Kazim, threatening him to leave their daughter alone and declaring they did not recognize their marriage. After Samia's parents had found out about her divorce from Shakeel in May 2015 and they did not approve it, they allegedly verbally harassed Samia. During this time, Kazim had returned to Dubai for work and Samia stayed in Bradford waiting for her visa to be able to go live in Dubai. Kazim was back in Dubai, hoping that things would come down, but it never did. Because Samia's family were against Samia, living in her own home became very difficult. That is why when Samia received a visa for Dubai in May 2015, she immediately took a flight and went to Kazim. In Dubai, she started working for a property management company. During this time, she stayed in contact with some of her friends, and she sends them beautiful pictures of Dubai. Immediately after Samia moved to Dubai, her parents reported her as a missing person to the local police, rather than just accepting that she was living life on her own. After Samia's parent had found out that she was married again to another man, they went to seek clarification from the religious leader who officiated their wedding. The leader tried to play dumb. While in June 2016, Samia had learnt that Shakeel's mother had passed away, she wanted to go to Pakistan for the burial, but she also knew there were risks. The people in Samia's village were very conservative, bound by their own customs, and could do anything for the sake of honor. After this, in July 2016, Samia's mother and sister called Samia and told her that her father's health had deteriorated significantly. Due to his diabetic complications, his condition was getting worse day by day. Samia made the final decision to go back to Pakistan to visit her ailing father. Kazim didn't agree with her choice. He approached her when she was packing and asked her how she got the plane ticket. She told him that her sister Madiha organized it for her. Kazim was very upset, but he couldn't stop her from visiting her ailing father. He drove her to the airport. On Thursday, 14th July 2016, Samia was on a plane to Pakistan. She texted her friend saying that, "Pray I come back alive." When Samia arrived in Pakistan, the first night she spent on a friend's house, over there, she left her passport, document, and return plane ticket for safekeeping. During this time, she was constantly in touch with Kazim, telling him that she was safe. The next day, she joined her family. While spending time with her family, she visited her aunt's grave with her father by her side on the 18th July 2016. On 19th July 2016, Samia and Kazim contacted each other, and Kazim told her that he didn't have a good dream. Samia told him to pray for her that she return safely to Dubai. She was due to go back to Dubai on the 21st July. So on 20th July 2016, she told Kazim that she was going to the bazaars to buy food and return to Dubai the following day. So on 20th July, Samia bought food from a restaurant to all her family members. She ordered her father's favorite burger specifically for him. That night, Samia texted Kazim, "I have a flight tomorrow. I hope everything will be fine." In response, Kazim texted Samia, but he got no response on his side, and the messages were showing red. Kazim was extremely worried with the silence at her end. At 1:30 p.m. that same day, the police in Pandori get a call from a man who is crying and seemed distressed. The man speaks to a police named Navid, and he said, "My daughter has died." The police soon arrived in a house in Pandori. They found the body of a woman lying at the bottom of the stairs. She was dead. Her shoes were scattered. Her black scarf was covering her face. Her purse was set down under her feet. Her eyes were closed, and there were froth coming from her mouth. The man who called the police was her father, Mohammed Shahid. When the police questioned Mohammed Shahid later, he said that he had come to visit his daughter by coincidence, but she found her in that condition. He tells the police that Samia had been living there with Shakeel, and he showed the officers where Samia had fallen and died. The officers asked him where Shakeel was, and he said no one had seen him and he doesn't know his whereabouts. Samia's mother and sister flew to UK upon learning about Samia's death. Later, an arrest warrant was issued against them by the police. Samia's uncle obtained her death certificate by paying extra money and informed the police that Samia's death was natural. Upon seeing the death certificate, the police handed over Samia's body to the family. After that, Samia's family wasted no time in burying her. But because the police records showed no signs of injuries or signs of violence on her body, the death was not suspicious. The news of her death spread, and there was a mixed reports. Some saying that she died after falling down the stairs, some saying she had a heart attack or an asthma attack. Some believed it was a case of honor killing. Samia's cousin by the name of Mobeen called Kazim, telling him that Samia had died of a heart attack. Kazim didn't believe it. He believed that it was an honor killing. He knew that Samia's family had called her to Pakistan and killed her to protect their honor. When Kazim arrived in Pakistan, he found out that Samia had already been buried in a cemetery near her home a long time ago. He told the police that Samia was murdered in an honor killing because her family was angry that she left her first husband to marry him. One of the police informed him that no investigation was needed because there were no signs of injuries on Samia's body. But Kazim still believed that Samia had been murdered, which prompted him to raise his voice again. The BBC contacted Samia's father, who denied about the existence of Kazim. Kazim received an autopsy of Samia's death. A 19-millimeter long reddish-brown bruise was found around Samia's neck, and the cause of her death was listed as suffocation. Seminal fluid was also found inside of her. It was believed that the police were bribed to cover up this initially. Kazim organized a press in Pandori and displayed what happened to Samia on the media. He wanted what happened to Samia to be publicized so that he can find exactly what happened to her. He needed police protection because he began to receive numerous death threats. Naz Shah, who was the member of parliament, received the news about Samia's death and knew she was murdered. She wrote directly to the Prime Minister of Pakistan, informing him about Samia's death, and she mentioned it as an honor killing. MP Naz believed that the truth was being concealed in this case, as attempts were being made to suppress the murder case by influencing the police and the medical examiner because they had taken bribes. The police formed a team of investigators and looked into the matter closely. Immediately after this, the lead police investigator, Akil Abbas, was suspended because it was later revealed that this police officer granted permission for Samia's mother and sister to travel to England. Furthermore, Samia's uncle was arrested for falsifying the post-mortem report. 8 days later, Shakeel was arrested and taken in for questioning, along with Samia's father, Mohammed Shahid, who was also arrested. When Shakeel was interviewed, he confessed to his crime. Shakeel explained that when Samia returned to Pakistan, he had asked her to stay in Pakistan since she had not yet divorced Samia, and he could not accept his marriage to Kazim. He said on the morning of 20th July, he went through Samia's personal belongings, but he couldn't find her passport or her return plane ticket. He confronted Samia in his home and tried to pressurize her to stay in Pakistan with him. Samia refused, and this angered Shakeel, after which he forcefully threw her on his bed and raped her. After the rape, Samia tried to run away from Shakeel. While fleeing, she threatened Shakeel that she will file a case against him in England. Hearing this, Shakeel became afraid and contemplated killing Samia. Shakeel chased her down, wrapped her own scarf around her neck, and strangled her to death. When Mohammed was questioned, he denied any involvement in her death. Allegedly, when Samia was running away from Shakeel, she was confronted by her own father, who nodded his approval to Shakeel before holding his own daughter's legs while Shakeel strangled her. Samia's father then tried to cover up her daughter's murder when Shakeel fled. In September 2018, after being held in police custody for 2 years, Shakeel was released pending trial. After being held for 4 months in prison, Mohammed Shahid appealed to the High Court, and he was released as there was no evidence to hold him in police custody. In January 2019, Mohammed was hospitalized due to kidney failure. He passed away with his daughter and wife by his side. A warrant of arrest was pending after it was discovered that Imtiaz and Madiha had fled to the UK after the death of Samia.